We'll move on for laughter and we'll go to performance here as we're getting ready for a series of B final. And we'll start with the men's K4 500 meters. So in lane 1, we have the 15th place position from last year's World Championships continuing to build their men's program from Great Britain. In lane 2, a new crew from Italy. They haven't entered the K4 as much in the last few years and bring a variety of background here. But in lane 2, we'll have Italy. In lane 3, 5th place at last year's World Championships. Bronze in Rachitse earlier this year. Coming in a bit of a disappointing performance in the semifinal from Lithuania. In lane 4, the America's representative of the 2016 in Rio and defending Pan Am Games champion, Argentina. In lane 5, the 2021 World Championship finalist and 7th in Tokyo. Hungary's always a powerhouse in this event, so looking for a great performance. Istvan Kuli, Kolos Chismadia, Adam Varga, and Benson Adash. In lane 6, from Denmark, Rasmus Knudsen, Victor Asmul, Magnus Siversen, and Martin Graversen. In lane 7, a new crew replacing the 6th place finisher from the Tokyo Olympics last year, 8th in Rachitse earlier this year, Australia's Pierre Westhuizen, Fletcher Armstrong, Jackson Collins, and Noah Havard. In lane 8, B finalists in Poznan earlier this year, building from a large World Cup contingent as they're continuing to build their men's program on the back of a strong result in K2000 in Tokyo. From New Zealand, Benjamin Duffy, Hamish Lagarde, James Munro, and Zach Firkins. And the athletes are just getting to the start line here as we are ready to get underway in this B final of the men's K4 500 meters. Again, lane 1, Great Britain, lane 2, Italy, lane 3, Lithuania, lane 4, Argentina, lane 5, Hungary, lane 6, Denmark, lane 7, Australia, and lane 8, New Zealand. And we have a start in this B final of the men's K4 500 meters. Great start from Lithuania in lane 3. Simonas Maldonis, Mindaugas Maldonis, Ignas Navakauskas, and Arturas Seja, the 5th place finisher last year at the World Championships. But Hungary staying with them here, as well as Argentina. New Zealand also having a great start. Close field here as we are starting this race of the B final of the men's K4 500 meters. Hungary making a push now and taking the lead after 200 meters in this race. Istvan Kudi, Kodostis Maria, Adam Varga, and Benson Adash, the 7th place finishers in Tokyo last year, continuing to push here as they're getting to the halfway point. Hungary taking the lead from Lithuania, Great Britain in 3rd place, and Argentina is currently in 4th. With 200 to go, it is Hungary by a nose over Lithuania, and then a number of boats in contention for that 3rd place here in this B final of the men's K4 500 meters. And strong push from the outside here from the Great Britain crew, but also Australia seeing a big comeback here from Denmark as well in the last few stages of this race. We are coming to the finish here. It is still Hungary, but Lithuania increasing their rate and making a challenge for the finish line here. It will be close for that 1st place here in this B final, but it looks like Lithuania is coming back and taking it by a nose over Hungary. And it is a very close race here, but Australia coming in 3rd place in this B final. But 1st place going to Lithuania, Simonas Maldonis, Mindaugas Maldonis, and great race here for Ignas Navakauskas and Arturas Seja as well from Lithuania. 4 athletes coming in and winning this B final here in the men's K4 500 meters.
It certainly was a great race, Pierre, and we talked earlier during the semifinals of this just about how close this field is and how great the competition is, both in the A final and in the B final, as we just saw here.
Yeah, and certainly those top boats here in the B finals are contenders. They could be in the A final any other given day, so close racing. Men's K4 is a really difficult event, so certainly a number of these crews will be in contentions as we move to next year, the qualifier for the Paris Olympic Games. So certainly the World Championships next year in 2023 in Duisburg, this race will mean quite a bit as a lot of Olympic quotas get allocated. So this is a building and a step towards that race that will take place in a year's time.
We are just waiting for those final results here. In the meantime, we would like to give a big shout out to our community sponsors for their support. They are Downtown Dartmouth, Develop Nova Scotia, and Halifax Water.
But what a close finish here between Lithuania and Hungary. Lithuania getting out to a strong start. Hungary kind of powering through the middle part, and then getting Lithuania here coming in through the finish again to take the win. But great race here, securing 10th place in the world is Lithuania with Simonas Maldonis, Mindaugas Maldonis, Ignas Navakauskas, and Arturas Seja.
Congratulations to them.
And confirmation of those results here, Lithuania in 1st, Hungary 2nd, and 3rd is Australia here in this B final, taking 10th to 18th position in the world in the K4 500 event.
Next up here, we have the C2 men's 500 meter B final set to go here in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, and certainly an exciting one with the Canadian representatives out in lane 6, so close in the semifinal to make the A final. So it will be great to see what they can do here in this field. Still a bit of a headwind out there, so a long 500, but it should be an exciting race. The A final earlier today was so close and produced a really entertaining race, so we'd be looking for a similar results here in the B final.
And certainly the Canadians will have lots of support from the sidelines here. Things have filled up around the lake here at Lake Banook.
So we're 2 minutes away here from the start of this C2 men's 500 B final. We'll have competitors from Mexico, Japan, Cuba, Brazil, Moldova, Canada, the Czech Republic, and Colombia. In lane 1, the crew that was 6th at the 2021 Under-23 World Championships in the C2 1000 meter from Mexico, Guillermo Quirino and Rigoberto Camilo. In lane 2, a 2018 B finalist in C1 500 and a 2015 N16 Junior World C1000 B finalist from Japan, Ryo Naganuma and Shuhei Hosumi. In lane 3, Olympic champions over the 1,000 meters, the Cuban C2 is always a powerhouse. So Sergey Madrigal is pairing up here with Tabiani Alvarez. In lane 4, from Brazil, 4th in Tokyo over the 1,000 meter and 2nd in Rio, Erlon Silva in both of those crew. Felipe Vieira is also bringing a lot of experience, being 4th at the 2021 World Cup in Zeger in this event from Brazil, Erlon Silva and Felipe Vieira. In lane 5, the Tarnowski brothers pairing together here, 7th earlier this year in Rachice in the C2 500, Oleg Tarnowski, Sergei Tarnowski. In lane 6, semi-finalists last year at the World Championships, continuing to gain a lot of international experience from Sakawa and Lac-Beauport, Canada's Tyler Laidlaw and Alex Plonter. In lane 7, 8th at last year's World Championship in this event from Czechia, Antonin Habal, Jiri Zalubil. In lane 8, a 2019 B finalist in the Under-23 World Championships, also a canoe marathon World Championship experience from Colombia, Alejandro Ramirez and Daniel Cipagota. And we have a start here in this B final of the C2 500. Strong start from the Moldovans in the middle, the Tarnowski brothers, but also from Canada, sticking with them early on, Alex Plonter and Tyler Laidlaw in lane 6. Great racing here in the early stages of this race. It does look like Moldova from Canada, Cuba in the mix as well, Czechia staying in there as well with Colombia. And approaching the halfway point of this race, it is Moldova and close racing for second right now in this B final, but Moldova, Canada hanging on for second place at the moment, Czechia and Brazil, but Cuba in the mix as well, and as well as the Czech Republic. So certainly close racing here as we're approaching 200 meter. It is all Moldova at this stage, but 4 boats in contention for that second and third spot. Canada in the mix here as we're approaching the last stage of this race, entering the last 150 here. Athletes will increase their rate to make a surge for the finish line. It is still Moldova in the lead, Brazil moving strongly here through the field as they're entering the last 100. Canada is still in the mix here, holding on for third at the moment, but the Czech Republic continuing to move here and gliding their boat well, but Canada still moving on Brazil for that second place here in the B final. Great performance here so far from the Canadians. We are coming to the last few strokes of this race. It is still Moldova, Brazil, and Canada fighting for that second place. Coming to the line, it is Moldova, then Brazil, then Canada. And winners of this B final in the C2 Men's 500, the Tarnowski brothers, Oleg and Sergey. So strong start here from the Moldovan crew, right from the start, right from the gun, taking an early lead, lots of power, keeping the rate in a controlled manner, lots of glide in their boat in this headwind in the 500. Brazil surging late, continuing to accelerate throughout the race, moving through the field to come into a second place here. Canada in contention throughout the race. The duo of Alex Plonter and Tyler Laidlaw coming in with a strong performance here in this B final.
Certainly great to see the Canadians coming in with a strong third place finish there. But as you say, the Moldovans really took the lead right from the beginning and continued to hold on to that throughout the entire race here.
Yeah, they actually missed a stroke or two with about 20 meters to go, so just doing enough to hold on to the win here. But Brazil coming second, and Tyler and Alex, great race. You can see that high five coming after the race, so certainly content with their performance, coming third here in this B final. we are getting confirmation of those results. Moldova taking the win here from Brazil, and Canada in third place in the B final of the men's C2 500 meters.
Next up, we have the K1 men's 500 meter C final. And a huge thank you to all of the volunteers who make this event possible. You can see everyone here on the sidelines here enjoying the day, and much of that is thank you to the volunteers who have been helping along the way with the setup and making sure everything runs smoothly. This next race here is set to go in about 2 minutes. Who do we have at the start line, Pierre?
So in this C final, so many people racing the K1 500. It is one of the deepest events. So we have a C final and a B final coming your way after watching the A final earlier, and Joseph Dostal winning the title in that race. But we'll have athletes from New Zealand, Uruguay, Netherlands, Puerto Rico, Singapore, Israel, Pakistan, and Romania here in the C final of the men's K1 500. In lane 2, the 23-year-old K2 and K4 specialist from New Zealand, Ashton Reeser. In lane 3, the semi-finalist of the 2021 Under-23 World Championships in Portugal from Uruguay, Matias Otero. In lane 4, from the Netherlands, semi-finalist in Rachinse earlier this year, Albert Vlier. In lane 5, the 21-year-old C finalist in K1 500 at the Under-23 World Championships last year from Puerto Rico, Eddie Barranco. In lane 6, the semi-finalist in last year's World Championships in K1 500 and 200 from Singapore, Brendan Oye. In lane 7, the semi-finalist at last year's World Championships at 10th in 2019 in this event from Israel, Ilya Popolny. In lane 8, competed in all 3 distances in 2019 at the World Championships from Pakistan, Savan Swaleh. And the junior world finalist in K1000 and K2 500 last year in Portugal from Romania, Darius Zaharia. And we have a start in this C final of the men's K1 500 meters. Strong start here from lane 6. From Singapore, Brendan Oye. We saw that throughout the week. He's quite a speedster off the line, so jumping in ahead, his race plan really setting some control early and trying to hold on. But also a great start here from New Zealand's Ashton Reeser, jumping to the front early with a number of these athletes just jumping in the front and trying to hold on here in this 500 meters. So New Zealand currently in the lead here as in the early stages of this race. Also in the mix is Albert Vlier from the Netherlands and Brendan Oye from Singapore. But at this stage, it is all New Zealand continuing to push from the outside lane in lane 2. Ashton Reeser in control at the halfway point. Second place going to Singapore, then Romania and Israel here in the C final of the men's K1 500 meters. At the 200 meter mark, it is still New Zealand, Ashton Reeser, then Singapore. Coming from the outside, from lane 9, Romania's Darius Zaharia having a great race as well, continuing to contest for the lead here. He's increasing his rate from the outside and starting to challenge for the lead here. Singapore still in the mix and starting to move on the Kiwi athlete as we get close to the last 100 meter of this race. So trying to increase the rate here. We getting a big push as well from the athlete from Israel, Ilya Popolny, coming strong here in the last few meters of this race, about 50 meters to go. It is a big contention for the win here in this C final. But Brendan Oye continuing to drive his boat forward and trying to hold on the Israeli athletes here as we get to the last few meters of this race. Very, very close for the win here in this C final, and a lunge for the win, but it does look like Singapore will hold on. But so close, and Israel in second place for this C final. But winner in this C final of the K1 500, Brendan Oye from Singapore.
Nice to see him celebrating that hard-fought win there.
Yeah, very close result here in this C final between all these athletes. Right from the start, you see the Singapore athlete and New Zealand jumping right in front. So really strong starters using some of that 200-meter speed to really set up their rhythm for the race. You can see at the 200-meter, it was all New Zealand, about half a boat on the rest of the field. So lots to do here for Singapore and Israel as they're coming back. But really that last 200 meters, lots of power, lots of endurance. That's when the muscles are burning and able to just power through here as they're approaching the finish line. But great racing here from the athletes in the C final. And congratulations to the winner, Brendan Oy, your winner in the C final of the men's K1 500. And confirmation of those results, it is Brandon Oy from Singapore, 0.09 in front of Israel's Ilya Popolny and New Zealand's Ashton Reeser coming in third place.
So close between number 1 and number 2 there. We're now going to head back to the start line for the K1 men's 500-meter B final. And as we take you there, a huge thank you to our sponsors, Sport Canada, the province of Nova Scotia, and the Halifax Regional Municipality.
Donc nous voudrons prendre un moment pour dire merci à tous nos commanditaires, Sport Canada, la province de la Nouvelle-Écosse et la municipalité régionale d'Halifax. And getting to the start line of this B final, the 22-year-old from Japan, Ryuji Matsushiro, in lane 1. In lane 2, 15th at the Under-23 World Championships last year from the Oklahoma Canoe Club from the United States, Augustus Cook. In lane 3, the B finalist last year at the Under-23 World Championships in K2 500 from Slovakia, Milan Dorner. In lane 4, the 21-year-old making his first Senior World Championships appearance from Hungary, Gergely Balog. In lane 5, the Junior B finalist in K1000 in 2018 and 2019, representing the Balmy Beach Canoe Club from Canada, Cameron Lowe. In lane 6, 11th place at the World Championships last year in Denmark, lots of experience in K2 and K4 from La France, Francis Mouget. In lane 7, racing at the World Championship since 2013, veteran of the team and a B finalist in K2 500 in Copenhagen from Finland, Jeremy Hakala. In lane 8, 6th place finisher at the 2019 Under-23 World Championships in Romania from Slovenia, Rock Smith. And in lane 9, athlete training in Germany with the support of the ICF and receiving the IOC Refugee Athlete Scholarship, competed last year at the Tokyo Olympics for the IOC Refugee team, Syed Fazlullah. And we are underway in the B final of the men's K1 500 meters. Strong start from the French athlete early on in this race. Francis Mouget jumping to an early lead here. Hungary's Gergely Balog staying with him early on here. Cameron Lowe just coming on from his start. We know he has a great finish, so look for him in the later stages of this race. Finland's Jeremy Hakala staying on as well as they're coming through the first 100 meters of this race. And after 200 meters, it is a close race between Milan Dorner from Slovakia and Francis Mouget. At the 250 mark, halfway, France from Slovakia, Slovenia, and Hungary in the top 4 position. The field starting to close here as athletes are mounting their finish in the last 200 of this B final. But it is Slovakia now coming into the lead. Milan Dorner starting to push for the win in the B final. But reacting is also the Hungarian. Gergely Baloch still coming back here, but in France, Francis Mouget moving as well as we're coming to the last 100 meters of this B final. In lane 9, Saifaz Lula also in the mix here as we're getting in the closing stages of this race. Francis Mouget moving back, the Hungarian as well, and Slovakia very, very close as we're getting to the last 50 meters of this race here. And it is a 3-boat race, but Hungary moving very fast as we're getting to the last few meters, but it too close to call between the 3 of them here. We'll have to wait for the finish and confirmation, but it is a photo finish for all 3 of those athletes. From France, Slovakia, and Hungary, lane 3, 4, and 5. Very, very close finish between the 3 of them.
Yeah, really closed up there in those last 100 meters, PL.
And it does look like provisionally that first place is attributed to Francis Mouget from France. So winner of that B final from the K1 500, and we'll wait for confirmation of those results and the margins between first, second, and third in that race.
Yeah, expecting those margins to be really small. It was so close at the end there between those 3.
Yeah, certainly the K1 500 is producing a lot of really close results. We saw that in the A final as well. And certainly great results here from these athletes. Strong performance as well from Cameron Lowe here, coming back and closing the gap in the second half of this K1 500. But great start here from the athlete from France. Francis Mouget starting really strong, setting his mark on the field here. Hungary staring back a little bit, Gergely Baloch, so a little bit of a different race plan. Slovakia a little bit slower off the line, jumping to the front and then trying to hold on. With 200 meters, it was about half a boat for Milan Dorner from Slovakia, and then the field closing, and then at the finish line, the 3 boats crossing at the same time. So very, very close race here between the top 3 athletes of this B final in the K1 500. And coming to the finish line in slow motion, we'll see if that's enough to separate the winners. It does look like France, Francis Mouget by a hair, and then second and third, so close between Slovakia and Hungary. We'll have to wait for those full results, but France taking it here in this B final of the K1 500. And we are getting those results now from the men's K1. Oh, we'll have to wait still. I think those are still too close to produce now, and we'll move on to the women's 500 first before we can give you the updated results for second and third place in the men's K1.
And this next race here is a B final in the women's K1 500 meter event. And Canoe 22 would like to thank our bronze sponsors here, East Coast Credit Union and Bell Media, for their support, PL.
Yeah, thanks very much, Priya. Yeah, an exciting race here. Again, the A final won by Lisa Carrington earlier today, but we'll have a great race here in the B final. In lane 1, veteran for the South African team, Esti Olivier. In lane 2, a junior world's bronze medalist, in 2017, and a K4 500 bronze medalist earlier today from Mexico, Beatriz Briones. In lane 3, the 2013 under-23 world champion in K1 200 and our Tokyo 2020 Olympian representing the Chima Aquatic Club from Canada, Michelle Russell. In lane 4, the 4-time Olympian and K4 200 bronze medalist in 2009 from Portugal, Teresa Portela. In lane 5, 19th in Tokyo in the K1 500 and 11th last year at the World Championship from Spain, Isabel Contreras. In lane 6, the K4 and K2 specialist world champion earlier today from Poland, Dominika Puto. In lane 7, the 2-time Olympian and B final earlier this year in Rechice from Argentina, Brenda Horas. In lane 8, from Czechia, 9th at the World Championships in 2021 and silver medalist in the 1,000, Aneska Paludova. And in lane 9, the semi-finalist from earlier this year in Poznan and Rechice from Finland, Netta Malinen. And we have a start in this B final of the women's K1 500. Great start from Spain's Isabel Contreras, jumping to a lead early on here in this 500. Also strong starters is Dominika Puto here from Poland in lane 6. A 100 meters in, it does look like Spain and Czechia are currently in the lead, but also having a great race is Portugal's Teresa Portela and Michelle Russell in lane 3 from Canada. Approaching the halfway point, it is a very tight race here between the top 4 or 5 athletes. Still in the mix here, Teresa Portela from Portugal and Isabel Contreras. It is Portugal from Spain, Canada in 3rd at the moment, Czechia and Eskapaludova in 4th. And at the 200, strong move here from Spain. Isabel Contreras trying to get in front of Portugal's Teresa Portela. Michelle Russell starting to move here in the second half of this race, but also seeing a number of these athletes increase their rate as they're making a challenge for the top 3 position. Czechia's athlete and Eskapaludova still in the mix, challenging with Michelle Russell. And Dominika Puto from Poland still coming back as well, mounting a charge in the late stages. But Michelle Russell increasing her rate here. Strong race for the win here between Portela and Contreras. But a number of these athletes are increasing the rate here. Seeing Poland come back, Czechia as well. Should be a great finish as we get in the last 50 meters of this B final. Getting to 20 meters to go. It is Portugal that seems to be taking this over Spain, and Poland coming in 3rd in this B final of the women's K1 500 meters. And close racing here, and a lot of lead changes in this women's K1 500 meters B final. So your winner from the B final from Portugal, Teresa Portela. Great racing here from these athletes. Strong start again from Spain, Isabel Contreras, just jumping to an early lead and having to maintain and contend with Teresa Portela throughout the race. At the 200 meter, very close racing here. Looked like Spain from Portugal, Canada in the mix, but a number of these athletes, Poland, Czechia, and Argentina, pushing strong in the second half, trying to make their way all the way up to those top 3 places. But what a race between Isabel Contreras and Teresa Portela in lane 4 and 5.
Great shot there. The intensity from Isabella Contreras as well.
And getting to the end, confirmation here, Teresa Portela taking the win from Spain, Isabel Contreras, and in 3rd from Poland, Dominika Puto. And we do have confirmation here, Teresa Portela from Portugal, taken first here, Spain and Poland, and Canada coming 5th here, Michelle Russell in the B final of this women's K1 500 meters.
And as we move through to the men's C1 500 meter B final, a word about a partnership that is very important to Canoe 22. The North American Indigenous Games are taking place in Chibuktuk, Dartmouth, and Millbrook First Nation in July 2023. The Games will bring together 756 Indigenous nations to celebrate, share, and reconnect through sport and culture. If you're interested in supporting or volunteering at this event, you can visit naig2023.com for more information. over to you, PL, for the men's C1 500-meter B final.
Thanks very much, Priya. And we did get a chance to see those results from the B final in the men's K1 500. So confirmation that France, then Slovakia and Hungary, 0.01 between Slovakia and Hungary in that B final.
Extremely close, just as we expected and saw there really at the finish line. So hard to tell.
And Cameron Lowe coming in 7th place of that B final of the men's K1 500. As we're making our way up the lake now for the B final of the men's C1 500 meters.
Nice overhead shot here of all of the athletes making their way to the start line.
Yeah, so athletes from the United States, Estonia, Hungary, Chinese Taipei, Spain, Slovakia, Canada, Latvia, and Mexico will be contending this B final here in the C1 500. So in lane 1, Ian Ross from the United States. Again, B finalist in this event back in 2019 and in Poznan earlier this year. In lane 2, Josef Carlson from Estonia, semi-finalist last year at the World Championships and B finalist in 2019. In lane 3, a Tokyo 2020 Olympian and under-23 World Championships finalist from Hungary, Daniel Fejes. In lane 4, second in C1000 at the Asian Olympic qualifier last year from Chinese Taipei, Quan Lei. In lane 5, the 21-year-old semi-finalist in this event last year, the World Championship from Spain, Manuel Fontan. In lane 6, the B finalist in C1000 last year, the World Championship from Slovakia, Matej Rusnak. In lane 7, making his first appearance at the Senior World Championships, 4th place at the Under-23 Worlds in C2000 from Canada, Andrew Billard. In lane 8, Latvia, Robert Lajdins. And in lane 9, from Mexico, Guillermo Quirino. And we are underway in this B final of the men's C1 500 meters. Strong start here from lane 5. Spain's Manuel Fontan. We saw from Spain they like to go out early, part of their race plan, but fighting back right away is Chinese Taipei's athlete Quan Lei here, coming back very quickly on him to challenge for the lead in the early stages of this B final of the men's C1 500. Also keep your eyes on lane 7 from Canada. Andrew Billard here representing the Mascot Aquatic Club, challenging here for one of the top positions in this B final. But at this stage, it is still Spain and Chinese Taipei challenging for the lead of this B final in the men's C1 500. And at the halfway point, it is Chinese Taipei followed by Spain, Latvia, and Slovakia. Canada starting to increase his rate here in the second half with 200 to go. Still Chinese Taipei from Spain. Big push as well from lane 8 from Latvia. And with 150 meters to go, Canada's Andrew Billard is starting to make a move here. Coming for the front of the pocket is still Chinese Taipei and Spain. Spain actually moving here and raising the rate. Latvia in the mix as well. Seeing a bit of a push as well from Slovakia's Matej Rusnak as he's coming through here. But Spain is starting to be in control, starting to glide his boat really well in the last few strokes here of this 500 meters B final. But close racing here for the top 5 in this B final. Spain continuing to lead here, but Chinese Taipei trying to hold on. Hungary coming strong in the last few strokes for the top 3 of this race, but it is Spain, Chinese Taipei in second, and Hungary in third. And winner of this B final in the C1 500, Manuel Fontan from Spain. And great start here from the Spanish athlete, in contention the whole time. Wanted to really jump in front of the field to be able to control the pace of the race, sticking to his race plan the whole way, even when the Chinese Taipei athlete challenged him early on. But what a great race here in this B final of the men's C1 500. Close finish here as we're getting to the finish line. Manuel Fontan taking the win here. The athlete from Chinese Taipei in second, and in third, Daniel Ferrez from Hungary. Close finish in fifth here for Andrew Billard from Canada in this B final of the men's C1 500 meters.
On the side of the course if you're leaving the course.
Loving this shot here of the entire lake. You can see the harbor here. Just beautiful. And here we do have the final results here. Spain taking first place, in second place Chinese Taipei, and in third place Hungary in that 500-meter men's final. We're going to take you back to the 1,000-meter start line shortly for the K1 men's 1,000-meter B final. And a reminder that you can follow the races and find out any updated event info at canoe22.com. And we do have a few minutes before that race. So that race happening at 3:10 in about 5 minutes.
Lane 4, Slovakia. Lane 5, Denmark. Lane 6, Italy. Lane 7, Sweden. Lane 8, New Zealand. Lane 9, Netherlands. We have 4 minutes to start. 4 minutes. We have 3 minutes to the start of race 184, men's K1 1,000 metres, final B. Please come to the start area. We have in lane 1, Lithuania. Lane 2, United States of America. Lane 3, Great Britain. Lane 4, Slovakia. Lane 5, Denmark. Lane 6, Italy.
All right, and we are back to the 1,000-meter start line shortly for the K1 men's 1,000-meter B final. PL?
Yeah, in lane 1, 6th at the World Championship last year from Lithuania, Andrei Olinik. In lane 2, the 19-year-old and 2021 Under-23 World Championships B finalist from the United States, Jonas Ecker. In lane 3, the 2021 and 2019 B finalist in K1 500, winner of the B final in Rachice earlier this year from Great Britain, Daniel Johnson.
2 minutes to start. 2 minutes.
In lane 4, three-time Olympian and three-time World Championship medalist, including gold in K2000 in 2011 from Slovakia, Peter Gele.
In lane 5, the 3-time Olympian and silver medalist in K2000 back in Beijing in 2008, 3 times world champion, including the 1000 in 2015, from Denmark, René Poulsen. In lane 6, the 24-year-old 2020 Tokyo Olympian and 4th in Riccice earlier this year, from Italy, Samuele Burgo. In lane 7, the 2021 K2 1,000 meter champion and under 23 K1 1,000 meter champion in 2018, from Sweden, Martin Nattell. In lane 8, the 25-year-old member of the Kiwi K4 and 8th in Poznan earlier this year in the 500, from New Zealand, James Munro. And in lane 9, the under 23 B finalist in K1000 back in 2018, from the Netherlands, Albert Vlier. And we are moments away from this B final in the men's K1 1,000 meters. Once again, lane 1, Lithuania, lane 2, the United States, lane 3, Great Britain, lane 4, Slovakia, lane 5, Denmark, lane 6, Italy, lane 7, Sweden, lane 8, New Zealand, lane 9, the Netherlands. And we are underway in this B final of the men's K1 1,000 meters. Athletes making their way down the lake from the top there. And we have a great start here from Samuel Burgo from Italy in lane 6, as well as Denmark's René Poulsen. Martin Nattell from Sweden also having a great start to his race here in the 1,000. Bit of a headwind still out there, longer 1,000, so athletes pacing their effort here in this long 1,000 meter race. But it is 3 boats at the moment. René Poulsen and Martin Nattell, and also Peter Gelle from Slovakia. But Great Britain's Daniel Johnson is having a great race and a great opening for his 1,000 meter here in the early stages of this B final. At the 250 meter mark, a quarter of the way, Denmark from Great Britain, Sweden and Italy. And this 1,000 meter being the Olympic distance, these athletes have strong race plans. They know how to keep with this 1,000 meter. They know how to handle the headwind, the tailwind, the various conditions. But great racing here from Daniel Johnson from the Great Britain, having a great opening 500 in this K1 1000 B final. René Poulsen just pacing his efforts, staying with him here from Denmark in lane 5. And Martin Nattell from Sweden, the 2018 under-23 world champion in this event, challenging here for the top 3 placing as well. And at the halfway point, it is Daniel Johnson from Great Britain in first place, followed by Denmark, Martin Nattell from Sweden, and in Lithuania, in lane 1, Andrei Olinik, closing out the top 4. And seeing René Poulsen just increase the rate a little bit, starting to make a move on Daniel Johnson from Great Britain. Also Martin Nattell starting to move back on the leaders as we are approaching 400 meters to go in this B final of the men's K1 1000 meters. With 300 meters to go, it is still a 3-boat race here between Great Britain, Denmark, and Sweden. Getting very close. Great Britain countering a little bit. It looked like he was fading a little bit, but Denmark and Sweden are not letting up here. At the 250 meter mark left to go, Denmark is taking the lead over Great Britain. Sweden still in the mix. We'll see those athletes start their finish in just a few minutes as they're trying to kick here towards the finish line. And it looks like Sweden started first here, kicking early and coming into the last 200 meters over René Poulsen from Denmark and Daniel Johnson from Great Britain. And approaching the last 100 meters, Martin Nattell from Sweden is putting together a great last 200 here as we're getting to the finish line in just a few seconds. Denmark's René Poulsen still fighting strong here as we're approaching the last 50 meters of this race. But countering this is Great Britain's Daniel Johnson trying to pick the rate back up and fight back here. But Martin Nattell having a great last 100 meters of this race as he looks to be taking the win. But Daniel Johnson from Great Britain trying to come back at René Poulsen. But Martin Nattell take this from René Poulsen, and Daniel Johnson coming in third in this B final of the men's K1 1000 meters.
Nice race there from Martin Nattell, and a big afternoon for some of these men, PL. Some of them just raced in the 500-meter B final as well.
Yeah, certainly a heavy program for some of these athletes out there. So great to see back-to-back racing here. Certainly difficult, especially in this headwind, but the A finals are spaced out a little bit more. The B finals are a little bit closer, but great effort here by a number of these athletes in a heavy program. But what a race here in this B final.
And we do have one more race to go today. It is a late semi-final in the K2 mixed 500 meter. And ahead of that, we have more medal presentations. So as we prepare to reward more champions toward the end of another stellar day of racing here on Lake Banook, we can't thank our partners at Canoe-Kayak Canada and the Atlantic Division of CKC enough for everything they've done to get us this far.
Donc nous voudrons remercier Canoe-Kayak Canada pour leur partenariat et leur soutien durant ces championnats du monde ici au lac Banook. Et un remerciement spécial à la division de l'Atlantique de CKC pour leurs efforts et leur soutien durant la préparation du site et du parcours.
Those medal ceremonies are set to begin shortly, and we will start with the KL Women's 200-meter winners. That includes bronze medalist Brianna Hennessy from Canada.
And great shot here of the finish of the B final of the of the men's K1 1000 meters. Apologies. I'm still getting a bit of a reaction from Martin Nattell closing here and taking the win in this B final. So we'll wait for confirmation of those results, and then we'll take you to the main stage for those medal ceremonies. And here are the results confirmed. So Sweden in first, Denmark in second, and Great Britain in third in this B final of the men's K1 1000.
Everyone, the medal ceremony of the KL1 Women's 200-meter event will begin momentarily.
Attention all competitors, the course is now closed. Japan, lane 4, Hungary, lane 5, United States, and lane 6, Singapore.
Semifinal. Who do we have at the start line?
Yeah, so in lane 3, we'll have a 2018 Junior K4 500-meter athlete also racing and joining the 2017 Junior World Championship semifinalists from Japan, Ryuji Matsushiro and Juri Urada.
Race 186.
In lane 4, the defending world champion in K2 mix. Hungary is starting a new crew this week, however, comprised of the 2021 Junior World Championship medalist in all 3 distances and the 2-time world champion and 2-time under-23 world champion from Hungary, Levente Kuruc and Alida Gatso. In lane 5, the under-23 K2 500B finalists, both of them in the men and the women last year from the United States, Aaron Small and Elena Volkamat. And in lane 6, both athletes competed on the World Cup circuit earlier this year and are making their first World Championship appearance from Singapore, Tek Ko and Angelica Si. Top 3 advancing to the final here in this last race of the day, the K2 mix 500 meter. And athletes are just approaching the starting area here at the 500 meters on Lake Banook, staring down the race course here towards the finish line. So we are about 1 minute to start here in this semifinal of the K2 mix 500 meters. Once again, in lane 3, Japan, lane 4, Hungary, lane 5, the United States, and in lane 6, Singapore. And we are underway here in this last race of the day, the K2 mixed 500 meter semifinal. Strong start from Japan and the United States here, lane 3 and lane 6 in the early stages of this K2 mixed 500. Ryuji Matsushiro and Juri Urada in lane 3 having a great start. Hungary coming back now onto the leaders. The United States, Aaron Small and Elena Volkamat. Early lead here for those 3 boats, with Singapore about half a boat behind at the first 100 meters of this 500 meter race. After 200 meters, still a 3-boat race here between Japan, Hungary, and the United States. Singapore about half a boat behind now, getting to the midway point, but it is a strong race here from the U.S. Aaron Small and Elena Volkamat currently in the lead over Hungary's Levente Kuruc and Alida Gatso. In third is Ryuji Matsushiro and Juri Urada, and in 4th place at the moment, Singapore, about 2 seconds off the pace as we get to the 200-meter mark. Top 3 advancing to the A final in this mixed K2 500 meters, but it continues to be the United States and Hungary at this point, securing the top 2 spots, with Japan falling slightly behind here in the last 200 meters of this K2 mixed 500. And approaching the last 100 meters of this race here, top 3 advancing. It is the United States from Hungary, and then Japan and Singapore fighting for that 3rd spot, advancing to the A final. And getting to the finish line, it is the United States taking 1st place in this semifinal, Hungary in 2nd, and Japan in 3rd. All 3 boats advancing to the A final, Singapore coming in a close 4th. But the winners here, Aaron Small and Elena Volkamat from the United States.
And those 6 athletes will have the night to recover. That final goes tomorrow. Congratulations to all 3 of those teams making it to the A final, which we will see tomorrow.
So just seeing a nice replay here from the United States crew winning here in this semi-final. Great shots from Aaron Small and Elena Volgamot here. They'll be great contenders in the A final tomorrow in the K2 mixed 500 meters. Joining them will be Levente Koric and Elita Gasso from Hungary, and Japan, Ryuji Matsushiro and Jiri Urata. Canada's representative already qualified directly through the heats, so it'll be an exciting final from the home crowd as well tomorrow in this K2 mix. And getting confirmation of those results, the United States, Hungary, and Japan advancing to the A final tomorrow.
And that wraps up day 4 of competition here today. We do want to thank the volunteers who make this event possible. More than 600 volunteers putting in 80,000 volunteer hours. I'm getting distracted by this beautiful shot here of Lake Banook and right into the Halifax harbor there. You can see Halifax across the water there. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous day today. But it's certainly hot out there, 37 degrees with the Humidex. Before we wrap, we would like to take a moment to recognize the Board of Host Organizing Committee here at Canoe 2022. They helped recruit and marshal those 600 volunteers. That includes our board chair, Jillian DeLesio. She is joined by Stephen Gallant, Una Launder, Tim Rosesco, and Mike Scarola. Thank you so much to them and to the committee chairs, Canoe 22 staff led by GM Sharon Guthrow and Sport Technical Manager Tom Hall. So a huge thank you to them. Organizations and businesses in our community also playing an instrumental role here. Thank you to Support for Sport, the proud sponsor of our volunteers. Nova Scotia Gaming Corporation's Support for Sport program raises funds for training and development opportunities for athletes, coaches, and officials throughout Nova Scotia. A final shout out today as well to our bronze and supporting sponsors, East Coast Credit Union, Bell Media, Pattison, McInnes Cooper, Fluid Insurance, Royal Bank of Canada, Immediacy, Glow the Event Store, and Docs Unlimited. And we do also want to thank Downtown Dartmouth, Develop Nova Scotia, Halifax Water, our beverage sponsors, can't forget them, Nine Locks, Lake City Cider, and Coldstream Distillery, and our travel partner, Turnkey Travel. Tonight, the party continues with our Canoe 22 concert series on the main stage in the festival area. The music begins at 7 o'clock. It's going to be a Down East kitchen party vibe tonight. Mi'kmaq fiddler and singer Morgan Tony performs along with Cape Breton folk group Villages. Headliners Biala will close out the show with their innovative and exciting arrangements of traditional Cape Breton, Scottish, and Irish tunes. Again, that all gets underway at the main stage at 7 o'clock.